So let's move into our first topic, which is ghosting. So I want to give a shout out to at Esther G. Benz. Here is the tweet.
Yes,
Ghosting
technology.
is actually terrible. People hide behind I don't owe them anything when it's the fear of confrontation and potential conflict that causes the avoidance. Cowardice masquerading as arrogance. So my question is ghosting really cowardice? What do you guys think?
I think, as with most things, there's a conflation of stuff. I don't think it's necessarily ghosting if y'all kind of like mutually just kind of fade away. I just think that sometimes stuff just doesn't work. But I think if you're like purposely ignoring somebody, I think that is cowardice, because you could just say, hey, I'm not interested, or I don't do this any further, or whatever else. But I also think too, it has become so common, it just kind of like one person fades, but the other person doesn't, so they eventually kind of give up. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I really like that because at first, I'm not going to lie, I felt personally attacked by this tweet.
Ooh, you be ghosting people in the street?
I have done it before. I'm not going to say
We
it's
all
a
have.
regular practice.
We all have.
But I know that in one particular situation, like I told the person, I told him, I was like, you know what? This isn't quite, I don't know if this is going to go anywhere. But he thought that it was. He continued to push forward. And eventually I got tired of saying, stop it, leave me alone. I was just like, all right, you know what? I'm done. And I think for me, part of my reason for doing it was kind of like, you know what? I don't feel like dealing with this. So it kind of is like that avoidance thing. But I like what you said as far as this, like, you know, this sort of like mutual or kind of like making it clear. Because I feel like I did make it clear. Yeah. The other person just wasn't listening.
Mm. I think my feeling about this is, yeah, I kind of agree. I kind of agree with the tweet.
Okay.
But like you said, Brandon, sometimes there's just a mutual, just like a dropping of the conversation. Now, I think that it's also important to note like what stage of the relationship you're in as well, because I think, at least from my point of view, we're talking about, you know, the beginning stages of dating or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But see, then I wonder, but see, then can you ghost someone who you're not like in an actual relationship with?
Child.
I mean, I think you can. At least, I don't know. In my personal experience, it's always been, you know, we get just up to the cusp of being a thing where all of a sudden they just disappear.
I'm kind of with you. I'm just like, how it's how early are we? Because I'm like, should you be that invested yet?
Right.
Because I feel like sometimes people complain and it's like, but you just met them. Why are you mad?
I feel like a part of it is like people expecting, you know, y'all to be in like a relationship after 3 conversations. Like that's unreasonable.
Hello?
Like, you know, like you gotta,
yeah,
hello. Like you have to give it a bit of time to kind of get to a point where it's like, okay, well, we're actually now I'm invested.
I got a comment from @LoveEternal saying, you know, you can absolutely ghost somebody that you're not in a relationship with. And yeah, so I kind of feel the same way. I mean, I feel like, especially now with the dating apps and stuff, if you're talking with somebody for a couple of days, but you haven't really met them or anything like that, and all of a sudden they disappear, it's not as severe as being, I don't know, having gone out on a couple of dates. And
so I guess that still is ghosting, what you're saying, but there's just a spectrum of ghosting, I guess.
Everything is a spectrum.
Our viewer brought up another good point that, you know, it's a good thing to kind of state your departure. And I think that's a part of the conversation that we haven't really delved into, and that I was actually going to bring that up, because it's that whole, I don't owe them anything, you know? So I wonder what you guys think about that line. I mean, I feel like on some level, if you're not feeling somebody, I feel like you should communicate that.
It really kind of depends. Like, again, if y'all have been conversing for hours upon hours, day after day, yeah, you kind of do. But like, again, if y'all are just now getting to know each other's stage, like if y'all barely know each other's last names.
I think people try to overuse, I don't owe you anything. And it's, or it's because you don't owe me, you know, this whole long, you know, apology and all that type of thing. But to tell me, you know, like you said, I'm just not interested. I don't want to do this. This isn't working. it could be a quick, short sentence,
Yeah.
and then goodbye. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like a bare minimum, then that should be stated. But I also feel like too, again, it should just be a minute of time, maybe. But
I feel like a lot of times we get quickly invested in these relationships
hello,
that ain't even a relation, let alone a
hello,
relationship.
hello.
So it's like chill, slow your roll, like, take some time.
That part.
Yeah. So when's the last time that you ghosted and why? We're gonna go with
Well,
Marcus first because
Right.
he seems the most pro ghosting in this room.
Oh no. It may have been that situation I was talking about, and if that's the case, that was what, like 2 years ago.
But what happened? Why?
Long story short, to keep from putting, all the personal business out there,
Ooh.
me and him didn't see eye to eye on a couple of things. We had some conversations. We had and okay. And see, this is why I say, like, I do feel like you in certain situations you do need to tell, be at least like, hey, this isn't working out. Because by that point in time, we had relations, and we had conversations afterwards. I was like, ooh, this may have been a mistake.
Mm.
So for me, it was important. Like, I feel like I did owe them like an explanation. So I was like, hey, I thought this was gonna go somewhere, but I see we don't see eye to eye on some pretty major stuff. So let's not do this. But they were hard of hearing. So,
Okay.
I'm gonna say, so that went there. So yeah, I think that was probably the last time, and that's been like 2 years ago.
Okay. So you kind of had to just had to break it off completely in order for them to get the point. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah.
Okay. Well. All right.
Define completely.
Lord.
All right. Well, Brandon,
Man.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was sitting over here trying to think. I don't remember. I feel like I'm normally ghosted versus me doing the ghosting.
I know.
But again,
me
it
too.
doesn't. But to me, it's like I'm saying, though, because it's so early, I'm not as invested yet. So it's like, okay, whatever. But I don't know the last time I did that to somebody. I don't know. But I'm also like horrible with like hitting people up first in general, though.
Mm.
So if you're the type to be like, I'm waiting for Brandon to hit me first, it just might. You might think I ghosted you, and I'm just absent-minded. Like,
okay, but that's another thing that I need to bring up, because it's like when you don't know all of the rules of communication with another person, because that's another, layer to dating. How do you know who's supposed to write first? And
well, I feel like if you're interested, you always should. And so I guess maybe I should clarify. It's like I'm typically not the first person to hit people up in general. But if you cross my mind, I will reach out. You know what I'm saying? And I do also feel like if you get to a point where feelings are involved, then you should be communicating daily. And it doesn't mean like all day throughout the day, but you should at least, hey, how's your day going? A good morning, whatever that is, and we'll get to that. But like whatever, that kind of communication is daily.
I'm somebody who will like to reciprocate, but then it's like if I feel like the energy changed, then I will just fall back and wait to see if you're gonna respond. And sometimes I feel like maybe I did that in error. The last time that I ghosted somebody, I want to say it might have been years ago that I would count myself as having ghosted somebody, but I feel like it was for a good reason. You've got people who are rude or who just aren't really looking out for you, and then I kind of fall back and I just wait to see if there's going to be any action on the other side, and there was no action, and so I was.
And I think maybe that missed another thing, because I kind of wonder, like we're saying though, you don't know the other person's intentions. So I wonder how much of ghosting is actually the other person like waiting for the other. You know what I'm saying? Like, say I'm waiting for you to kind of change your energy, and kind of hit me up first to do whatever, and then you never do. And so I'm like, damn, they ghost me, when actually we're both waiting on each other.
People have trouble communicating, and they don't really know how to approach this thing, because like they're trying to figure out, like, should I be chased? Should I be doing the chasing? Like, am I coming off as thirsty? Am I like being too eager? a lot of that is like people trying to figure out where they fit into the relationship or into just communicating in general.